Welcome back to episode 39 of the XboxNorth podcast. This week, we discuss the first half of March's Game Pass games and the possibility of Xbox coming to Steam. Fingers crossed. Also, we talked to our competitor, I guess not competitor, but the other side of the fence, you can say, PlayStation Now, and kind of the rumors we've been hearing and what the future kind of has for the PlayStation Now service and their upcoming Spartacus service. But before we kind of start that, there's some crazy stuff going on in the world, and I just wanted to take the time and dedicate this episode to the Ukrainian people. They're dealing with some serious trying times, and our thoughts and prayers go out to them. I'll leave in the description on ways you can support them humanitarily. But as my background is Ukrainian, my grandfather is Ukrainian, and I don't know my family out there. I've never met them. They probably don't even know we exist, but they're there, no doubt. Yeah. When a person's born there, they definitely have family there. So I wish them all the best in this crazy time. So, and also on still sad news, sadly, the CEO of Microsoft's son passed away at the young age of, I think it was 26. As a parent of two, I can't even imagine what he is dealing with.
The hardest thing to go through. I couldn't imagine.
As no parent should see their kid go, and I just wish the world was in a happy place, but let's not dwell, and let's talk about some things to maybe uplift our spirits going forward. But with that out of the way, Dan, how are you doing this week?
Oh, not too bad. I started a new job this week and everything, so it's been going good, and I've been having fun doing that. Been trying to patiently wait until I have that extra money to throw down on hopefully Elden Ring or Dying Light 2, but still not sure which one I want to get 100%. I'm leaning hard towards Elden Ring. But,
yeah, the more I learn about that game, it just seems so interesting.
Yeah, and if you got some good co-op with it and everything too, you'd probably have an easier time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping to try and get my wife into it, but who knows? That'll work out.
It's a game that would definitely it's a gamer-ass game, let's just say.
Yeah.
So if she can get into that.
She is really good when she's getting into the games and everything, though. I was quite surprised when she got online with some Red Dead Redemption, and yeah, she was keeping up just fine.
There you go. If she can get her timing and dodging and parrying, and just be like, you will die 100 times, but when you beat the guy on your 101st try, you will feel a sense of accomplishment like you've never felt in any other medium.
Right?
It's kind of crazy.
Oh, it's going to be nuts, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, and have to choose sooner or later.
Going?
Yeah, been getting into that pretty hard. We figured out some more stuff on the server and kind of in the game, how it's working out, so we've gotten close to some gas zones now, and gotten full body protection suits for that, because that's where all the best rare weapons actually spawn in. So we've been doing some of that. We've been doing some more base building. We got on the server with a bunch of other guys who are all joining on our team. And so now we're starting to take over the map too. So we've got a surprise apparently waiting for when we max out all our team on the server, because the admin just left a little message in the chat. It was oh yeah, if you get to max on the server for your team size, I think it's 32 guys or whatever. If we can fill the server with 32 guys at once, we've got a special surprise apparently.
What do they mean by special surprise?
I don't know. That's what I asked, because I was I was just talking, like, because they just popped up in our team chat, and I was talking to one of the other guys, and I was like, I hope it's not surprise as in, like, suddenly all our bases are filled with landmines or something. Like, hopefully
He's
it's,
like,
like,
you
a
guys are
good
getting a
surprise.
little too powerful.
Yeah.
And
And the
it's like,
admin actually, like, hopped back in and was like, don't worry, it's a good surprise. It's much better than that. It's like,
he's like, y'all get bulletproof vests. It's like, what?
yeah. Oh, we already got tons of those. We got, like, load up on plate armor and everything. We got a few ghillie suits. We got, like, the cars do not run quite properly, but man, did I have a time just taking our car. So basically, like, we started at the top of the map and jumped on with one of the guys on our team, and we headed over to the gas zone. And that's quite a ways away, but apparently when you're driving through towns, there's a good chance you might just disconnect and crash your car because the car keeps going when you disconnect.
Yeah.
So you got to, like, slow down and be careful and everything. So we had a few crashes, but we managed to, like, scramble up some spare parts and everything. Actually got to, like, one town, got a whole new car in that town, and took the new car all the way down to the gas zone. Parked it there overnight and everything. So we all went to bed and stuff, and got on the next day, and it was still where it was. So we drove it back up to town, and we tried to get it back to our base, but ended up just crashing it on the way because, again, somebody disconnected while they were driving. It was me that time. And just, like, yeah, I was just at the top of the hill. So we were even, like, trying to be very careful and drive super slow in town and everything. Like, so just fast enough that you're getting away from the zombies, but not so fast that, like, if you disconnect, you'll crash real hard. And I managed to do it just at the top of a hill. So no matter how slow I was going, it just picked up speed and smashed. But we managed to have all the parts to fix it again, except for a spark plug. So we had to run back to the base, get a spark plug, run back to the car, and then I just floored it all the way from where the car was parked to our new base, which is on the other side of the map. So I basically drove straight from the west side over to the east side. Or east side over the west side. Yeah.
So the game gets hectic, eh?
It gets
You
pretty
have, like, a
hectic.
rival team that is, like, just bent on, like, killing you guys?
So it's basically divided into play styles, all the teams. And blue team basically will help people on site if they can. And they'll not kill people on site if they can, like, unless they're threatened or bored, it says. So we'll potentially do it just to fuck around a bit. But on top of that, there's like, all the other colored teams. So I think orange is the nicest team. They'll for sure help anybody, and they won't kill anybody on site or anything. And then it goes all the way down to, like, red and black, where they're, like, it's basically just if you want to be a jerkhole and, like, roll around like that, then you can do that. And, like, you're going to be stuck doing that, and the other teams aren't going to like you. So have fun.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so there's, like, a couple of guys. There's one guy on red, and I think a couple of guys on the black team. And we're just, like, slowly finding them and hunting them down and stuff.
Have you killed, like, a guy multiple times?
Not just yet. What we did do was somebody killed our one buddy outside of our base and then ran inside our base because he had just opened it up and had stopped for a second. And so dude killed him, ended up going into our base, and I logged on just as this happened. And so I saw that he went in there, and we kind of waited him out, and I got into a gunfight with him for a bit, but he logged off. And so what we did was we had some of our teammates bring a truck over, and there's a hole kind of up top in the base that we managed to glitch through and get into the base and take all our stuff out before dude logged back on. We took all of our stuff out of the base, and then we actually built fences in front of all the doors, so he was just trapped
you locked him in?
Yeah.
Did you shoot him through the fences?
Yeah, you can shoot them through the fences, like, as long as it's, like, wood or, like, if it's something that's actually shoot-throughable, because it's supposed to be as realistic as possible.
Yeah, it's based off Arma, right?
Yeah. So he shot at me, actually, while I was lying on the ground, and I just ended up unloading my shotgun a whole bunch of times into the base, and then realized afterwards that he had logged off in between there, and apparently I was just missing him. And he just got super lucky, because I was shooting a lot of bullets.
It's like you got lucky.
Yeah, we've only seen him log on, like, there's like a log on feed and a kill feed, and so we were watching that to kind of see what happens, because the only way he can get out basically is if he kills himself.
So how do you like pledge your allegiance? Like, is it like something you wear?
Yeah, so you join the Discord server, and each team is a color, and you can get an armband by cutting up a raincoat. And so we're on the blue team, and we got our blue armbands and everything. And you join that Discord, and you can pick a team, but you can only pick a team once. The admin's the only one who can move you after that. And so you just sign in online on Discord, and then, pick a team.
Well, you'll have to come pick me up in the car maybe later tonight. I did finish Evil Within, so I need something new to play.
So the cars are like super dangerous to drive too, because like essentially because the disconnecting and stuff and not loading properly, and you got to be careful driving them because they're all stick shift too. So you got to actually like change the gears and everything. But apparently the top gears are pretty glitchy, and there's a chance you'll just go flying off the map. But I was only in like first and second gear, and I got up to like 80 miles an hour, and you're like running there. Usually, like we were driving before at like 20, 30, but I was like, all right, well, I got to put the kids to bed, and this car's pretty glitchy, so we're not worrying about it as much. And I just floored it. But you can't redline it or it'll ruin the engine, and you gotta have like spare parts and stuff. And
see, I wish like this game existed, but it was like on the Battlefield engine, or like
that's what I'm waiting for, because this is an old game now.
Yeah,
it came out in I think 2006 originally. Arma did.
Yeah, I'm like playing it on the Series X. And I'm like, it could be so much more. I'm like, where's Daisy 2? To be honest, like,
right.
Like, where's Daisy 2?
Hopefully, like, they just get bought by Microsoft, and then they have all the resources they need.
There you go. Well, hopefully,
just make a new
State of Decay is, like, apparently it's going to be, like...
It just got some visual updates and everything, and it's looking pretty interesting.
I mean, the third one, the new one.
Yeah.
That we know. I think we've only seen, like, a
Decay
trailer for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come out with in that one. I'm hoping it's a little more like DayZ, because I liked the State of Decay when I actually tried it out. But yeah, I'd prefer it to be more actual people than just NPCs and stuff.
Yeah, or at least give you the option to be a little bit more RP in the game. So we can see. We can hope. It's going to run on Unreal 5, so...
That'll be insane.
Should be, yeah.
It's going to look nice, that's for sure.
It's going to look real nice, that is for sure. But, I've been playing this week. I just finished Evil Within 2. Like, I just got it done.
Yeah.
That game is so good. I'm very impressed with just the overall package. It's a little long, to be honest, but where most games kind of fall apart, in my opinion, on like the last level, this game kind of like adds a couple mixes to it. Like you start playing as a different character all of a sudden in like the real world, and the way they transition, like you open a door and it transitions to her like coming out of the door. So they do this like flip between like transitioning the scenes like that. So you're flipping between like reality and not reality. In the STEM simulation, but shit is going like crazy. Like you're in this, like everything is falling apart at this point. And then you fight this boss. I sent you a screenshot of it. Like graphically, it was insane.
That looks crazy.
Like I'm like,
I thought you were sending me like an Elden Ring boss for a second.
No, that was a boss in Evil Within. And she looked crazy. Like graphically, they took the time to make her look absolutely crazy, and she just starts falling apart, man. Like you shoot her arm off, and then it starts like crawling at you, and then it grabs you while it's like severed from her body, like shit, like you explode her stomach open and then it just like turns into like little creatures and you have to like stomp them with your feet. Like things get pretty demonic at the end, but it has actually a pretty like uplifting ending, which is surprising considering that it's a horror game.
Yeah.
But it really makes me want what they're making next. Not so much their game coming out for PlayStation, because I think that was a different director at the time. It's not like it's not the team. It is the team who did Evil Within, but it's not, I think, their main focus. I think it was kind of like an offshoot game.
Okay.
And I think he is developing, I think there is another game in development at Tango that is like their bigger title. Or you can say successor to more so Evil Within.
Yeah.
Which
That'd be cool.
now I'm excited to see anything they're coming out with, because Evil Within 2 was wild for sure. But
I'm
I was playing that
in the game now, yeah. Because
well,
I didn't know about like the storyline really. I knew it was just kind of like a horror game, and like saw a few video clips, but they all looked pretty regular, right? But like when you describe it and you've shown, like I saw the video kind of playing in her background, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it can get more like an action game too. If I just played it on casual because I was more so like looking at the story, but there's like interesting guns. You get this like this one gun where you kind of pull back the crank and it can arch, but if you put it on a wall, it can put like a cord up, and there's ones that will like explode or freeze guys, so you can set up like traps and like throw a bottle and like lure them into like traps and stuff like that. And the stealth is actually pretty fun too. And the horror, there's some scenes and things chasing you that just like get crazy. You're just running down the hallway and there's this like thing just chasing you. And because it's all based in this like VR simulation, this place called STEM, things can just get weird. Like the idea that your character can like level up and with stats just doesn't seem silly, because you're in like a weird world. When things get like you're running up a hallway and then the hallway turns into a tower and you're falling down the hallway, you know, like things get really strange in that game. And I want a sequel to it. Considering the ending of it, I don't know how they would do a sequel to it, but I'm curious how. Oops.
Yeah.
But
always do a new game in the like same universe sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what their new game was going to be. Tokyo War, or I always forget. I don't know why I always forget the name of that game. But so I really.
I'm trying to remember the name now too. Tokyo something.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying Tokyo Spirit.
Yeah,
kind of close.
That's their new game. But like I said, I don't think it was the director of this game. I forget his name, but I know it's like the Resident Evil guy who did it. So, so I finished that. I played it, half of it on cloud and the other half on console. God, like I keep on saying how good the cloud streaming is these days, but man, the cloud streaming is so good these days.
Yeah.
But
is it that game you were having problems with before? Or?
No, it's Remnant. That game I can't play locally at all. Yeah. I can only play that game in the cloud. It is crazy. I gotta send like an email to the company and be like, just so you know, if anyone plays this game on Microsoft Cloud, it is unplayable locally, or there's something going on with my game or my save file.
Maybe if they got like a fix for your save file or something. That's weird.
Well, the whole thing is it's just not syncing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not allowing me into the...
They might have like a back way into the files or something to erase it or something too, though.
One thing I don't understand is the cloud is running off a Series X in the cloud. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Like, there's no difference. One's in a data pad and the other one's in front of me. It's still the same console, like theoretically or technically. So, and I've been enjoying Remnant. It's fun, but it's hard as balls. Really need help. Like, surprisingly, I need help already.
Yep.
I'm like, you want me to get through this whole subway system and then you throw me into this area? And it, like, why are you throwing this many bad guys at me? I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like, if I can, it's one of those things where you get through and you're like, oh yeah. Like, I start going through this subway system and there's these little guys coming at me with knives and they're pretty easy to kill. But then all of a sudden, this like cloak creature like starts like slowly chasing you and he has like two swords up and you're shooting him and he's blocking. So you have to like wait till he attacks you and kind of like dodge out of the way and then like go in for like shooting or your melee kill. So it's like if Dark Souls was a third person shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I can describe Remnant from the Ashes. That's pretty.
That'd be
pretty
pretty rough. Yeah.
But yeah, I was playing the video you see is Far Changing Tides. I might actually just finish the...
Yeah, that's one of the new Game Pass games, right?
Yeah, it came out on the 1st, but you know what? Let's just get right into our topic. Our first topic is actually about Game Pass, and you know, they always tease the first half of the month. Also, I kind of want to get into... we'll talk about it later on, but a couple predictions maybe for the last half of March, because there's 2 games and they kind of come up in a later topic, but there's 2 games that I think we'll get at the end of March. But, you know, looks like we are getting our first batch of Game Pass games coming for March, and we're getting a big one. We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy, and hopefully can make up, for those disappointing sales. Square likes
and we get to play
stuff.
Andrew's Game of the Year. We don't have to borrow it from him anymore either.
Oh, what was that?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yes, that was his Game of the Year. Sorry, I was thinking MLB The Show. I'm like, MLB is not on there. It's already on there. But yeah, no, yeah, he did say Guardians of the Galaxy, but
he was loving that.
his Game of the Year. Yeah, no, it was funny because we were trying to get it off him, and now we're just getting into Game Pass. Like, how old is the game? 5 months
like
old?
A couple months, yeah. Like he just recently got it, or his I think brother had gotten it for him as a present, and he was really excited.
Yeah, I think it came out in like October or November, so it's like 5 months old. So that's a big get in my opinion. But we have a couple other games on here. So Far Changing Tide. If you are watching, that's the video playing right now.
Yep.
It's a very just relaxing kind of puzzle game where you're in this flooded world. Almost feels like a screensaver at sometimes, where it just
like a 3D
like,
side
just
scroller, right?
Yeah, you're just like standing there watching the boat you're on go. So it's been pretty enjoyable. It's probably not too long too, so I can probably get through it pretty quickly.
Nice.
But we also get, finally, Flight Simulator coming to cloud, actually. So everyone who has an Xbox One can actually play that game.
I'm going to have to let my dad know that because he's excited for that game.
Yeah, no, and now you don't need a beefy PC. He can play that on his phone if you want to.
Yeah.
Let him borrow one of your controller. If he has a controller, you can play it right now.
Yeah.
Also, we're getting a
holder for the controller. It's around here somewhere.
But we're also getting a RPG. I actually own this game. It's pretty interesting. The fighting system in it is quite different from the Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2. It kind of went to a different name too. It's called Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, which has an interesting kind of time mechanic to it. You've ever played games like Majora's Mask, where you have like 3 days to do stuff, and it kind of, or you can reset it, kind of like that. But if you play it on PC, apparently you can add a mod where you can disable that. So that's fun.
Nice.
My friend was like, I could not deal with that. He's like, it stressed me out.
Timer gives me anxiety. Yeah. That's why I didn't like Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
I don't want to be on a timeline. I want to do what I want.
Yeah, I want to do what I want. But and also we got Kentucky Round Zero. I think is that a racing
Route
game?
Zero? Yep.
Kentucky Route Zero. Sorry. Also Lawnmower Simulator, which I thought we already got this. Didn't we already get Lawnmower Simulator?
That was for Xbox One, so we probably got it for Series X and S.
Oh wow. Okay, so and the big one on the 10th, we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy on everything, cloud, console, and PC. And the last one for the first half of March is Young Souls. So short list for the first half.
Yeah.
Makes me think the last half might have some bigger games in it, which, like I said, we'll get into later. But
hopefully it's Elden Ring or Dying Light 2.
No, I think it's okay. The two games I think we have a chance of getting, and we can. No, you know what? We can just like talk about it here. So what I think will come at the end of the month. There's two games coming out. Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Wonderland.
So the
I hope so.
Borderlands one.
I would be so excited for that.
Or there's a Final Fantasy game. It's called Strangers. I think Strangers of Paradise. Final Fantasy Origin. It's kind of like a Souls-like game, but I think it has co-op too. And it comes on the Friday of the just after, like it's the 18th. So it's just right there.
Just right around that time, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this first half is very light even though we are getting a big game like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I feel like that game was coming either way, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a big day one game coming. And considering the success Outriders did, it could be the Final Fantasy, and also it could show like some love to the PlayStation fans who, don't get Final Fantasy VII Remake, don't get Final Fantasy 14 Online, are not getting Final Fantasy 16. So throw us a freaking bone. That would be kind of nice, even though it's this weird Souls-like version of Final Fantasy. But made by a really cool team, Team Ninja. Ninja, right? The guys who did Ninja Gaiden.
Okay, yeah.
But like their newer team. So they've been working on games like Neo and stuff. So they did Neo 2, which is out of the Souls like copycat. I hear that's been considered
one of the best ones.
Yeah, one of the best ones. So they're taking on Final Fantasy. But then we could get like what works better with the service, right? It's the Borderlands game though. Like
yeah. I think the only thing, like, I've seen the pre-orders are out for that and everything, and I'd be so disappointed if I had pre-ordered that and then it came out.
Oh, yeah. But, like, the same thing with Outriders, we found out that week. Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know. I could see it being the Final Fantasy game because of Elden Ring being out to kind of...
spark that for a free service sort of thing, and like, oh, you want to try something that's like Elden Ring? Like,
yeah, exactly.
A little bit of this.
Exactly. And just
see if you can get into it. At least it's already on GamePass, right?
Yeah. Also, it gets that word of mouth going because that game is going to be, in my opinion, a very niche game. Like, where like if you gave a regular person, be like, you have this shooter, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I hope I'm saying the game right.
Yeah.
But or Final Fantasy Origins, people would go for the shooter like easily. Yeah. I'd probably 100%. Go over. I'd probably take Final Fantasy, but I'm like I'm a JRPG Final Fantasy nerd, which is funny. Mm-hmm. That's why it hurts me that they like all these Final Fantasy games are not on there. But we're getting one, this week. So I haven't
And one
beaten
right
it,
now,
even
so
though
hopefully they're coming.
I own that game and I haven't beaten it.
Yep.
Which is funny. I found actually the graphics were a downgrade in that Lightning Returns from the second one.
Oh yeah.
I think they switched to Unreal Engine and it just
wasn't quite the same.
It just doesn't really work. I think it's Unreal, that one. I'm curious what this Young Souls is, though. I think it's a pretty interesting looking indie game. I want to look up the trailer for that again. I think it has a cool art style from what I remember. But man, I can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's a huge get, in my opinion. And like that game is so perfect.
I can't wait to try that. I want to see it because like Avengers was pretty good to start, but like apparently this one's much better. Like,
oh yeah, and it's a story. See, and that's where I'm like, should we wait for Elden Ring? I'm like, because you're so addicted to DayZ, and we get this like on the 10th, which is in like 6 days, and that's going to be like another, like at least week of like flying through that, and then. What if they announce on the 15th, oh, we're getting that Final Fantasy game or
Tiny Tina,
and I'm just like, I guess we'll
play that instead, yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I have this gut feeling like it's going to, call me out at the end of the month when it doesn't happen. But something about those two particular titles are saying Game Pass name. Yeah. Yeah. Like something about it. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think those?
That's just it. I think, like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and I've struggled to pull myself away from DayZ lately because we're just getting more and more into it and connecting with all the guys and everything. And if I can come and kind of pick you up and get you going on it or something too, like man, we'd have a big ass team.
Yeah. Games, man.
Yeah. Playing with the guys.
Like, I gotta get him hooked.
Gotta get you hooked and in there, and then then we'll be together again, Josh.
Yeah, it's like once you get that one hit, man, you're hooked. It's like you just need to roll around in the car and just hope we don't get disconnected, and you'll see.
That's just it. I think we all kind of like got on and was like, I don't know if I like this. Like the controls are kind of like funky, like. It's not great and everything, but like shortly after that, like once you get over that hump, like it's good to play. It's fun. And like you want to keep going back to it just because like, we got everyone online. It's like we get to hang out again and go fuck around with people.
Yeah. Always love messing around. But just sticking with the topic, this is essentially the theme of the show is we're talking a lot about Game Pass and
streaming services and
gaming services. There you go. So next topic, topic number 2, you can say, looks like Lord Gabe Newell or Lord Gaben. Is that what they call him? Lord Gaben?
I think so.
Has said he would love to actually see Game Pass on Steam if Microsoft can make that work. And hearing this, I think Microsoft should make this their number one priority, at least for the PC platform.
Yeah, especially because, you go ahead.
Yeah. Well, even if it's just like their first party games, like it needs to happen because they have no like their app is there, but it sucks. So but you're saying
not that great, and like they released the Steam Deck. Like that would be an absolutely perfect like console for Game Pass, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like it's built for games, and like it's basically like a big ass screened like Game Gear. Like I remember my brother having the Game Gear way back in the day. Like I loved it.
Yeah, and it runs SteamOS, but it's like based off Linux. So some companies don't
support that.
Like apparently if you even try to get Destiny 2 running on it, like on Linux, they will ban you. I'm like, what? I'm like, why are you doing that? That makes no sense. But
It's probably because there's like exploits and stuff you could launch through there and everything.
yeah,
But if you're streaming like Game Pass to it, then it's
I
kind
could
of
bypass
isolated
that.
because you don't have access to the actual console to make modifications or anything like that. You're just streaming your screen and inputting your controls and everything. So you'd have to have like admin access or something to be able to do anything more than that. So it's probably a safer way to do it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, streaming works so well, man. Feels like I'm
Yeah.
playing on the console. It's absolutely insane. I was playing a shooter, mind you, not like a side scroller, not a turn-based RPG. I was playing Evil Within, a third person shooter, and it felt like I was playing on the console. So if they can get Game Pass on the Steam Deck, I think that'd be really cool. But I think the streaming would be the way they do it. As like maybe even a separate app, because like programming for it, I don't know why. I don't see them really taking the time to get it on natively on that console. But then again, a lot of the games do work natively already, like Forza, Halo. So I don't know.
Yep.
It feels like do you think?
I feel like Microsoft might be open to doing that just to get it out there, really. Like, especially on SteamOS. Like, why not? Like, it's just another platform that you're actually going to have, like, Game Pass on. Then you're more likely to buy Game Pass from them.
Yeah, that's true. And, like, I think they should make it their number one priority to get it on Steam and then let whatever software kind of converts it to the Steam Deck. But I think their whole probably, like, even though Phil Spencer has come out and praised the Steam Deck, it still runs Linux though. That's still like not their thing. But what is their thing is, and would they even have to bother once they finish the purchase of Activision Blizzard, is they have BattleNet. Like, would they even need Steam at that point? People respect BattleNet, in my opinion, just as much as Steam. I feel like they should put everything on there.
I think, it's more likely to go on BattleNet because they own it and everything. But for the SteamOS, I could see potentially them coming out with, it runs on the browser even. So if you can get it to run on a Linux browser, which I guarantee somebody's been trying to do if they haven't already succeeded. Like, I guarantee they're going to have Game Pass working on there one way or another. So even if they don't release it actually on Steam as like a launchable thing, then it'd be interesting to see how he thinks that's going to work anyways, because most computers that Steam's on is PCs, like Windows PCs. So they're already in Game Pass, like on the Microsoft Store.
I think they used Linux because it was more like lean.
Yeah. I just mean, like, if you're already getting, like, if I can already stream xCloud to my PC already, why would I stream xCloud or Game Pass to Steam? Like, what are you doing on...
Yeah, what's the difference? But then again, does Steam Deck have a browser? Couldn't you just, like, go to the browser and do it through the browser now?
Yeah, that's what I mean, is, like, you should be able to kind of do that. If it's not already... Because it has to be a supported browser. I don't think I can run it on like Firefox so well, but I can run it on Edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the native Linux browser or whatever native Linux that they're using, so the SteamOS Linux browser, is supported or not.
I'm not too sure. I'd have to look that up, actually. That'd be something good to look up. I'm very curious what it could do and how much support it will eventually get, and that could make Steam OS even bigger in the future, and maybe they can actually come out with maybe the Steam, remember the Steam machine, or was it the Steam box back in the day? Yeah, where everyone
For some reason, I keep going back to the KFC console.
Yeah. Oh, I want that.
Just
thing,
like just warms my chicken while while I'm eating or while I'm gaming.
Yeah, no, that'd be hilarious. But man, there's a lot of competition in the little handheld space now. There's like I'll send you a couple videos, but there's some full on Windows handheld PCs like the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck is not its only thing, but these ones are like $1,200. They're like really expensive Windows powered machines. So they're pretty cool. But
I've always thought about making like a custom like Raspberry Pi computer or something
cool.
and running it on that, run Game Pass on that. That would be awesome.
One thing though that drives
print our own controller parts.
Oh yeah,
somebody's got a 3D
now.
printer. Yeah,
yeah. No, I didn't even mention that at the top of the show, right? Yeah, we got a 3D printer this week, and Carly's been. God, I can't believe the detail this resin 3D printer can print stuff out of. So yeah, no.
I've like from what I've always seen, it's like yeah, you print it off and then you have to sand it like crazy, and then you have to like smooth it out and everything, and then you have to like paint it or whatever. Yours came out like it was like plastic molded, like it was just like
it
was insane. The details.
That's amazing. What the resin 3D printers can do. Yeah, it just comes out like perfect.
You could just start up a like a 20-sided dice company. There's like so many of them. You just sell them.
Wants to make keycaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be amazing, man. I would get that for my my little gaming keyboard here. All right, the Red Dragon one. It's not an expensive one, but it's all mechanical keys and everything, and so it gives me like a keypad for my left hand because I like the controller more. And this was basically my alternative for a PC controller where I'm using more PC stuff. You get those nice clicky sounds.
Yeah, she wants to make ball jointed dolls too.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no.
You guys could definitely do that with that.
It's crazy, dude. Seeing the thing just it just pulls it out of like a liquid. So it seems so sci-fi, but I look forward to. She wants to make this like crazy dragon that it's like the size of a snake. It's like maybe a foot or 2 foot long, and it moves like crazy. Like it's like made out of like individual parts that are like almost like a inch big, and they all move. So it can move just like a snake, and it has like a dragon head and stuff. It looks crazy.
That's awesome.
I'll show you like a little video of it. The way you print it on the resin 3D printer is it like a coil, and it comes out like almost like a brick, and then you like snap all those snaps off, and it's really
you just
cool.
have to clean up those just a little bit, but yeah,
that's cool. And you gotta with the resin one though, you have to wash your print. Either if you're doing regular resin with alcohol, or you can buy water washable resin.
Yeah.
And you wash it in this like machine thing you get, and then you put it back in there, and it cures it under a light, a black light.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
A UV light. So you have to cure the object to like let it harden, and it looks it looks like the thing I showed you. So maybe I'll 3D print a controller, like something I can mount a controller behind me or something. But yeah,
you should make we'll set up a camera and make like a time-lapse video, and then you should post it up on the channel here and everything too.
Well, the time-lapse, we tried to do it. We'd have to do something really long because like it was like the little piece I did. So it like came out and then just like went right to the top. So you just see it just like go, because it's such a small piece. So you see it barely come out, and then the arm goes right to the top. So we'll have to like
tall, long, cool,
really big. Yeah.
That'll be cool though.
Man, I'd say the worst thing about the streaming though is if it's a game you own and it comes to Game Pass, you can start like cloud streaming it. But if it leaves Game Pass, you lose the cloud streaming, and they really need to unlock every single game. If you own it, doesn't matter. If you own it,
like
you
if they
can
can run
cloud
it,
stream.
I'm curious what goes on in the background there. Like, is there a licensing issue with that? Is there a hardware issue? They can only have so many games stored at once for each server, sort of thing, or
because like I feel like
what the problem is.
Yeah, like even if like let's say people who own Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, but it's still coming out for cloud, so now you can play that game on your phone now. That's something you couldn't do before. So I'd like to see every game get cloud streaming soon. So that'd be cool. But I don't know, Steam Deck. You know, it's an interesting piece of hardware. Oh yeah. It really makes. I really hope Nintendo kind of reevaluates their next Switch because I guarantee you the next Switch won't even come close to being as powerful as the Steam Deck, and the next Switch will be like what, a year, maybe even 2 years from now, and it probably won't even come to be in a fraction of the power of the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck will probably be 2 years, and a Pro version will probably be in the works at that point. That will be even more powerful. Yeah. And it probably will be the same price, $399 in the States. Like the fact that they even got it at $399 is outrageous. Like you said, dude, like the hardware inside there is as good as like a $1,000 PC, like a laptop, easily.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that they got it to that price, they must be losing a ton of money on it.
Oh yeah. But they're gonna make even more with Steam sales if they can, make them all portable, I guess. So.
Yeah, and you know what could also make another company a lot of money? If they start actually focusing on it and maybe putting it on different platforms and growing the service. PlayStation Now. Which is kind of, oh my god, kind of like, I think they have like 3 million subscribers to it compared to like Xbox Game Pass is over 25 million.
Yep.
So it's definitely a night and day, but that might be changing. So finally, PlayStation Now is showing some competition with releasing a day one game. So they are releasing a third-party game, Shadow Warrior 3, which Shadow Warrior is a fun game if you like the kind of, think Doom with like a Asian twist to it, right?
It started up early on, when Duke Nukem was coming out and everything, right? And so they came out with Duke Nukem, and then they came out with Shadow Warrior as a, to be honest, very racist depiction of.
Oh yeah, like have you
Asian
heard like
culture?
him speak? It's outrageous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it was definitely done intentionally that way, and they've kind of ridden along it, but in a much more respectful manner and a much more like at least badass manner.
Yeah.
It's more of like jokes and everything. It's more akin to Duke Nukem, I guess, than the first one. Like playing the first one when I played it, it was a lot more like Duke Nukem because, to be honest, I was probably growing up like where that stuff was more acceptable. But now it's like we understand it better, and it's changed. And it's still just a crazy game. But
well, I look at it as like anything else. Every culture has satire that is towards their culture, right? You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I more look at it as almost like culture satire at this point, but still trying to be a little bit more respectful. But you know, we can all laugh at each other, right? Like so.
Yeah, exactly.
I like how it kind of takes itself not seriously, and it is a wacky first-person shooter, but they are getting, this is a very cool game in my opinion. It makes that service, like if I had a PlayStation 5 right now, I'd be signing up to PlayStation Now right now.
Oh yeah. Just to at least play that, do the trial or whatever.
Yeah. And they're also getting a couple other games this month, like what was it?
Like Crisis.
Crisis, Crisis Remastered.
What's the other game there?
But they don't get as many games. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's like 3 games on PlayStation Now and then like 3 games on PlayStation Plus. So you can say like if you have both of those, you get a pretty decent March lineup for sure.
Yep. So it's Crisis
And
Remastered and Shadow Warrior 3. And what's the last game?
but
Relicta and Chicken Police. Paint It Red.
never heard of those.
Yep. Relicta, I guess, is the picture that we've got up there. And then no picture of Chicken Police Paint It Red, unless that's Chicken Police. But I don't think those two fit.
No. But I don't know. It's nice to see, like, it's so funny that this kind of came out of nowhere. No one was expecting them to get a day one release. So everyone is just like, is this something we can hopefully maybe expect more in the future? But, competition's king. I like the fact that they're getting a day one release. It will just make their service better and more appealing. And Xbox Game Pass more aggressive, but it'll also make these deals, the competition, these deals like even like way more aggressive. Like, maybe they'll pitch it to PlayStation Now. They'll be like, well, Sony's, willing to give us this amount to release it day one on their PlayStation Now. Are you willing to spend maybe an extra $100,000 or something like that? Something you never know. So the streaming wars, just kind of how it is with the movie services, like what Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix. Like I feel like we do it right, where it's just like, okay, I pay for Disney Plus, they pay for Netflix.
Right.
You can use our Crave.
Just a little bit here and there,
Exactly. You got to
Like,
spread the wealth with those services.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. Like, but like your TV at home before was just like, you shared it with everybody in the house, and like now you get to share it with your neighbor, like you did a long time ago. The cable's running out the window or whatever.
Oh yeah, right. Or your neighbor, like you're my neighbor, right? You live like what?
Yeah.
Just like 5 hours north of me.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little ways.
Yeah. Hey, we're neighbors, man.
Yeah.
Always. But
let's just say, otherwise, like I might not have the service. So like if you're getting multiple customers and like if you ever have to change your subscription for whatever reason, I might end up picking it up then.
There you go. There you go. Did you start watching Peacemaker?
Yeah, we've watched I think 2 or 3 episodes now. We just got past the point where like, his dad's getting arrested, and I think it's just the 2nd episode.
That funny.
His dad's a supervillain. That's crazy.
This show's pretty funny. I find it's a very
it's a very
it makes cancel culture quite a bit. It's pretty funny. But I started watching on app because we got Carly the new iPad Pro, which I'm trying to sell our older iPad Air. So if you know someone who wants the iPad Air, let me know. Yeah. But I started watching the Foundation on Disney, or not Disney Plus, on Apple. Is it Apple Plus or Apple TV Plus?
Yeah.
The first episode was interesting. Man, what a sci-fi ass show. Like, holy, like the production value is huge on this show.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. Yeah, it is a sci-fi ass show. Like it's about like the Empire, and it expands over the like galaxy, and the 3 people who rule this. Yeah, the 3 people who rule this empire, like day, dawn, and dusk. They like perpetually clone themselves, so they are always, ever present. And this planet they're on is so like, it's so built up that there's multiple layers to the planet. and there's this huge orbital elevator that they come down to the planet on. And the first episode, they blow it up, and like half of it wraps around the planet, and it just like it messes things up. Like it was a pretty interesting ending. The whole show's about that. It's about a mathematician who takes like probabilities and population growth and essentially just runs like an algorithm on how long things, like where things will go. And he's like, look, this empire is going to fall in 500 years, not 1,000. And he's like, what we can do, we can either be in like perpetual darkness for like 10,000 years as like a species, or we can be like screwed for 1,000 years. And it's like, how do you want, he's like, this will happen either way. How do you want, hence the name, the foundation is, how do you want the foundation for this next generation to start? So you can almost say like, what if it's like the precursor to our society and stuff like that, kind of like how Battlestar Galactica was. But it's pretty cool. So Apple TV Plus, so maybe I'll give you the login for that so you can check it out.
I might check that out for sure. Yeah,
sure.
Wife's loving Crave because she's been watching all sorts of different shows and everything. There's the Guild or something, I think it is.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff on there.
Yeah.
She's loving and there's like new movies, so and there's a kids area, so the kids can watch some stuff. Nice. I think they have like the new Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Scoob.
So they got like a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it just came out on Netflix too. I was surprised.
I found out you can get Paramount Plus through Apple TV.
Oh.
So that's how
we'll be watching Halo. Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get a perk on of like a month of Paramount Plus. So fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, streaming wars are heating up. But keeping with the topic of PlayStation, some leaks did happen. Jeff Grubb on his podcast gave some details out of what the different tier systems for the upcoming kind of rebranding of PlayStation Now. So, we finally get a great month of PlayStation Now with a day one release, probably right on the precipice of it about to totally rebrand itself. But the details that we have for its competitor, it looks like it's going to be in 3 tiers. So Essential, Extra, and Premium. And this will be this is US, mind you.
Yeah.
So $10, $13, and $16, which is funny. $16 is higher than Game Pass Unlimited in the States. So they clearly think their service is more premium for sure, even though they don't get day one release.
It's got to include some nice perks for that.
Yeah, right? Like, even though it's like $1, like what, $1 or $2 more, but still, you are more.
It's $1 or $2 more every month, right? Like, that's why, like, these are low enough prices as they are. Like, you're paying, $20 a month. It's like buying a used game a month or something. Up here in Canada, using our colorful
Canadian money. Yeah. Which,
watch
with inflation, games are they're going to go up to like $110 up in Canada. And they'll be like, oh no, don't worry. You'll save money. Just buy an electric car. I'm like, you mean that $45,000 electric car? I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
right. How about you buy it for me?
Yeah, you just send us one of those, and then we'll have
It's like, oh, we'll give you 8,000, or like we'll give you a tax break on it. He's like, yeah, it's still not enough. It's like, I'm a used car man.
Well, you got to get the whole like piece installed in your house too, and everything. And I think I'm just far enough north when it gets real cold outside that thing might start having issues starting up or open the doors. I've heard like the handles like freeze in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I think you can plug it in and there's little heaters built into them. So
the Hyundai one is really cool. The Ioniq 5 or something like that.
Oh,
A
yeah.
really cool electric car, in my opinion.
Nice.
And apparently it's sold like crazy in February, but considering glass and war is breaking out, I'm not surprised that electric cars are starting to surge in popularity. So no one wants to fill up at the gas. Heck, my mom is up in Barrie and she's just like, yeah, I don't know if I can make it down. You know, gas is like really expensive. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, when it's like $45, like there and back, it's like $45. It's a lot of money to come see your grandkids. Like, it's nice, but still, like $45.
Yeah.
I bet you'd rather spend that on the grandkids.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to spend sometimes. Like, even up here, we're lucky enough, like, we're close to the reservations and everything, and we get tax breaks and stuff kind of through that. We get cheaper gas up here, but it's still, like, yeah, it's up to $150 now, and, like, not much you can do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that. Then you'll start to get me to talking about our government. All right, so let's break down these tiers. So the essential tier will essentially just be PlayStation Plus, it sounds like. So it'll be PlayStation Essential. I guess I'm curious if they're going to keep the...
Basically Xbox Gold.
Yeah, like, so it sounds like that will just stay the same. So you'll get the cloud saves with it. And man, I can't believe they put their cloud saves behind a paywall, which is, especially if they're going to start offering cloud streaming, having it behind a paywall is weird.
Strange.
So sounds like the basic $10 is PlayStation Plus, which I thought PlayStation Plus was a little cheaper per month, or buying it per year is probably cheaper. So I'm curious if PlayStation Plus will increase in price. Yeah. So
because this should be basically PlayStation Plus with some extra games, I guess.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little more big of the extra games.
So there's the essential, and then there's extra. So extra tier will include downloadable game catalog. So featuring around 300 titles, anything from PlayStation Now that was downloadable teams would likely be in here. So it sounds like it's just PlayStation Plus with PlayStation Now combined together, which is kind of essentially like Xbox Game Pass Unlimited that combines PC, cloud, and console.
Okay.
And then there's the premium tier, which seems to be the most interesting tier. So premium tier will reportedly give subscribers access to classic games and cloud streaming. So just like kind of Ultimate gives you access to cloud streaming, but classic games. So this could be potential like PS1, PS2, and PS3 classics, but probably through the means of not a true backwards compatible emulation like we have on Xbox, but more so through the cloud streaming through their network, which will be based off of their deal they made with Microsoft through Azure and stuff like that. So if it's going to be anything like we're getting with Xbox Game Pass right now through their cloud streaming and how good that is, I could see some big improvements for that. But I don't know. Like, this is not appealing. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is the most appealing thing about Xbox Game Pass? After telling you all this, like, it's day one games, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be day one games and everything. And it's just a weird, like, you're segregating the games to make the tiers is like a weird, I don't know, it just seems strange to me to, like, just put, like, the service is already there and you're just, like, getting access to a few more games and everything. Like, I guess I understand it. Like, they got to have money extra to pay for all of that stuff. But at the same time, it's, like, I find Microsoft's approach makes a little more sense. Like, okay, you get, like, Game Pass, you have access to those games and everything. Or you get, like, the next tier up, you get Game Pass with, like, cloud streaming. And then Ultimate is Game Pass, cloud streaming, and PC. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you get, like, everything there. But it's just strange to me to, like segregate it games-wise. Like all the games are accessible on pretty much all of them, other than the cloud, which is understandable. The hardware is not necessarily working quite properly with the software yet.
Yeah, with like on Xbox, like you don't lose anything. I'd say the only thing you really lose if you have, let's say, Game Pass by itself is you don't get the games with gold. But like, who cares about games with gold? But mind you, that's the difference with PlayStation Plus games. Is PlayStation Plus is fairly good actually. But one thing I find weird is their high-end tier. I feel like, you give me access to classic games, but if their high-end tier was like, our high-end tier does day one game release, like we kind of showed you a taste of it with Shadow Warrior, or our high-end tier, 6 months after release of our first-party games, it goes there. Or, you know what? How about be ballsy and be like, no, our first-party games go into that service day one. You want to know PlayStation how you beat Microsoft in literally a second for streaming? You have the number one console in the world. Put your games on that service day one, and I'm sorry, but you have, at this point, as critics would say, the best and highest quality first-party content. If you put that on there day one, how can a person not be like, oh, I'm going to buy PlayStation 5. I'm going to get that new, Spartacus Essential service, and then I'm set, You're going to get continuous revenue. And I think they've seen it. Like, there are some games I think will be day one on this service. I think these live service games they're investing in will be day one on these services. But they're like single player blockbuster, higher brow, Last of Us 3 kind of games. I don't think we will see those on the service for a long time, if at all. Like, man, they put God of War, the new God of War on PlayStation Now, and they removed it. It was like on there for like 5 months. And it made no sense. Oh, we lost you there.
Yeah. Lost me for a second. 1 second.
No, it's all good.
There we go.
But, like, it was on there for like 5 months only, God of War, the new one. And then they removed it off their own service. So, like, you can't even rely, at this point, mind you, can't even rely on their first-party games even staying on the service, let alone. So I hope this rebranding, this tier system, I hope they announce it sooner rather than later so we have a better idea of it. And I hope this also kind of weights Microsoft on kind of reevaluating their tier system, in my opinion. I feel like we need a stream-only tier system. I've been saying that for a long time.
Absolutely.
And we need even more expensive, probably, one that gives, a family pass. Even if they can figure it where it's like, okay, we'll allow you to do it as a family as long as it's on the same IP address. I'd be like, there, you solved your own issue. Like, if you don't want it to be like me, like giving you access to,
everything,
account and stuff like that, then make it IP based. I think that would be an easy thing for them to do.
Or like you have to be part of like the family account there or whatever. Like, because they've already got it set up with like Microsoft Family and everything. Like, I have my family built up on there. I have myself, my wife, my 2 kids, and then we can restrict their content and everything and monitor kind of what they're doing and making sure they're not getting into any trouble online or anything. And so right there, like, okay, Family Pass applies to your Xbox family. It's the same way I'm buying my my Microsoft Office licensing. It's like it's just through my one account there, and then I have 5 licenses I can give out to whatever people I consider my family.
Yeah, and they need to do that like yesterday. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't already happened. I feel like that's maybe even one of the biggest things that holds the growth of that service back, in my opinion, is they need to have a family package because that's what everyone else does. Like every streaming service you buy, you pick your profile and then you go in there. Just like when you turn on the console, you pick what profile you're on there. It should allow you to, access the Game Pass library that console, that IP address or my, email address has access to, because
That's just it. I got 3 consoles in my house right now, and yeah, I'm at the limit because I can have 2. But as soon as you got a third one, it's like, okay, that's complicated.
It's like, don't you want me to have a third one too? Right? Like, so they need to fix that, and I think Sony will find some challenges in that as well. But I hope for the best, because that will make the PlayStation 5 maybe one day in the future actually appealing for me to purchase and finally, play all those PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 first-party games that I have missed out on. So, but hopefully we will be hearing about that very, very, very soon. E3, I don't think it is happening this year, but we'll hear stuff for sure. So the future is bright for their services, and like I said,
like we've been saying, competition is usually best for the consumer. So
there you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that covers pretty much what I had on the list to kind of go over. Just to kind of announce as well, we're going to be having a special guest on next week. We're going to be having Mr. Boomstick XL from Double Barrel Gaming on next week. So that will be really, really fun. So stay tuned for that. I'll have more information. We'll be talking to him more this week and trying to get all that coordinated on and get a good show. Hopefully Microsoft will buy another company and we'll have some big topics to talk about. But besides that, Dan, take us home.
Yeah. So don't forget to smack that subscribe button on our YouTube page and tippity tap that like button. Comment on my sexy voice and this other dude's sexy voice.
My sexy voice.
Oh, yeah. Find us on audio only on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Just search relentlessly for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit, Instagram. Take a look for Xbox North Podcast. And for Twitter, at Xbox North. No, just kidding. It's North Xbox. But we're just going to make it more complicated for you, so it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah. Just look for our logo. You'll find it.
Yeah. You'll see us there. All right.
All right, guys. You have a good evening.
Toodaloo.
Bye.